Ladies and gentlemen, our own. And by the way, Matt Welch is dressed almost as if one of the people in the stands looking at Christy Mathewson. That is a classic, stunning gentleman farmer look, my friend. I love it.
Ball. America rolls by like an army of steamrollers, Ray, even though that doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense.
This man is dressed like Moonlight Graham. And Terrence Mann.
Your own stupid movie.
Well, did you see the way Moonlight Graham, older version, dressed?
That's true.
Exactly like that, sir. But, yeah, Terrence Mann, who coined the phrase make love, not war, I believe, in the movie.
That's true.
This man has the gall to dress so wonderfully and amazingly like one of the great movies ever made, and yet goes on gutting the sacred cow to destroy it.
Piece of garbage. It's the root of all evil. And James Earl Jones turned 92 yesterday, so hats off to him.
By the way, all right, I get it, 92's old, but he has gone out on record as saying that he has retired from doing the voice of Darth Vader. He could do that hooked up to a machine.
Literally.
Which is, yeah, actually, come to think of it, that is Darth Vader. But that is of the many hardships of acting, voiceover work is not one of them.
Wait, has he always been the voice?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
In all of the
Every
films.
time.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can see him start to leak a little bit of potency over the years. Like, I mean, he's old. You don't have the same, like, loud Schultz family voice.
Yeah.
Can I be adopted into your family? Because
You have the loud ones.
Well, we have actually the loud phone talkers. Like a special voice just for the telephone. We can talk here. The phone is an amplification machine. Hello? Nah, he's not here right now. Like, what the? Where does that come from?
I can't make fun. I do that too.
I grew up in a big house with a lot of people, and no one was going to walk up those stairs. No one was going to walk down the hall, and it didn't matter if you were like within eyesight. It was just Matt. And I live my life, I swear to God, to avoid that fucking noise.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I live right now in Brooklyn, which is not a place that is conducive to quietude.
Yes.
On a like really narrow but 3-story kind of row house situation, and none of the people that I live with, known as my family, have the walking up the stairs and like, you know, did you turn off the bath? I don't know. You could walk up and, I don't know, 5 steps and check it out. I'm traumatized on a daily basis.
It makes your ears bleed after a while. But the interesting thing is, like, okay, with your girls are native New Yorkers, so you're doubly screwed there. But then they've also inherited your vocal loudness.
I'm not loud. I'm calm.
I think you can be loud.
I can be. I just was, but it's
So
not.
they have inherited that part.
It's not a default. My youngest, who is actual native, the first one was born in Washington, D.C., although she doesn't retain much of that. But the youngest one, for a while, the word park had 2 syllables. Are we going to the Powak? Like, no, I'm from California.
I rarely hear any Jersey from her. It's as if when you're talking about something back in the day, you'll maybe lapse into the cadence. If you're drinking a little bit, sometimes I'll hear it. But other than that, I never really hear much.
Well, I took speech and diction classes in college.
I remember
to
hearing
get rid of any affectation.
Oh, it's offensive to all of our Garden State viewers. I do hear it a little in your sister. I wonder if that's how you would sound now.
It is shocking, though, the times that I do go back. I've gone back for, like, to my high school for performances, anniversaries, retirements, and things. And I hear these students speaking, and it is shocking, the accent, the Jersey accent, that I also must have had in high school.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's why we got to get some of those home movies.
They also have, like, 1994 hair and stuff and shoulder pads?
No. I think in terms of fashion and style, Jersey is very much like New York.
They wish.
Like Billie Eilish, all these kids just dressing in a big old sweatshirt.
Oh, God, it's back.
Braiding their hair or flat ironing, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Unfortunately, I guess she never really had the big Jersey hair. I'm dying to see photos of those.
I mean, my hair was naturally curlier than it is now. So
You're self-hating curly, we've discussed. But,
yeah.
it takes so much less time to just not iron it out every morning. But what do I know? I'm just smart.
I would like to see you get the iron hair.
I'm a hypocrite because I wear so many hats that I've got like the Danny DeVito down here, but it's pretty straight up here. There we are.
What I looked like.
That's the response we always get.
It is a Photoshop, but I have to say that because there are many people online who have asked if this is in fact my
Look at her
actual
catchphrase. She even had the same catchphrase back then. Let the market decide.
Yeah,
I love it.
Are you like biting your cheeks to create the dimple, or are you just like we're heavily?
She's really happy.
Heavily dimpled, or maybe I've never seen you smile.
I don't have dimples.
Now.
There in the picture you did this.
Well, again, there might have been.
Right up there?
But did you see the back brace?
Cutie.
Oh man, it's so good. She has just got the world by the whole world's ahead of her.
Yeah.
So much promise. But jumps in the pool, sinks like an anchor. It's a problem with those metal backs.
I'm just not a great swimmer.
I think we saw why. Between the hair and the metal.
Is that a specific World Series jersey? Like when Maddie ran the field in the 1905 World Series, one of the greatest performances ever.
This is their warm-up jackets back then.
Fantastic.
It's unbelievable. I mean, first of all, playing in wool, that alone problematic. But this was the equivalent of a warm-up jacket. Amazing. Ebbets Field Flannels just started making them. We're on the street that they'll start making White Sox ones soon. But this
is it more than I've
Giants.
paid for several of my cars?
Let me tell you something. What you're looking at on the surface, perhaps, is a colossal waste of money. Although, look at these.
No, it's
And everything.
Is it warm? Is it in fact like warm?
Too warm.
Yeah.
To the point where we should get to the Bulls story soon, so I can put on my jersey.
Okay.
But look at the pockets right here.
Yeah.
Perfect for a ball.
Get some Red Man in there.
Just because a ball fits doesn't mean it's perfect for a ball.
Yes, it is perfect for a ball. It's the perfect size for one. That's why they had them.
Yeah.
I just imagine that the ball stretches out the pocket.
Do we still have that photo of Christy Mathewson so Matt can really take a gander at how fucking unbelievably accurate this 1909 New York Baseball Giants sweater is?
I'm aware.
Well, you were the only one that would appreciate it, and as I told you last night, you're the only person I actually really ever dress up for.
It's so sad that I found my old man. I went to like a Cat Timph birthday / Halloween party because they all are.
I was gonna say that's every day for her.
And like I met the dude from Guar, who I guess you guys know, but I had never met. He's like, Reason, I love Reason. I'm like, you're from Guar. This is confusing. Anyways, I wasn't really invited, so I crashed it, and so I went to the local old people store and said, "You got any clothes? I'll dress up as an old person." So this is my old person outfit.
I
It just
love
happens
it.
to be my Terrence.
But see, I kind of want all of that.
Yeah.
I sort of want to wear all of that, and not in a hipster way, by the way, in a very old school gentleman farmer way. So take a look at that. Come on.
God, that's great.
Yeah, man.
Don't sleep on the hat either.
By the way, the pose is just incredible.
Well, it's his follow through.
He, if I'm remembering this correctly, served in World War I as maybe an intelligence agent.
I didn't know that bit. I love it.
Got gassed. I mean, look, he was as
I already told Joe that bit.
Mustard gas.
mustard gas. He's as handsome as it goes, and
He really was.
And seriously, look at how he performed in the World Series, and tell me that there's anybody who's ever been better. He was fantastic.
But he was never the same after World War I, right? The mustard gas really got him. It just affected everything. Your brain, your body. I mean, the people that survived didn't survive well. And, we were also talking about, like, as not apparently a great guy as Hitler was, would never do the chemical warfare because of his own experiences in World War I.
I didn't realize we were having a denialist episode here. I'm really excited about this.
No, I was saying that Hitler was a bad guy. She kept talking about how on time the trains were and other good facets.
Whoa.
That's what you said. I get it.
Timetable.
Oh, man. Well, obviously, I never have to do it. Masturbation, that is.
Terrifying.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Let's get to the Bulls story. So this makes sense.
It makes sense regardless because I got you a lovely child-sized medium present. But let's go to basketball talk. I can't believe that this has continued so long after The Last Dance came out. Although I guess it's gone through many incarnations.
Yeah, I really think I am just a fan of this docu-series.
Oh, yeah.
More than the Bulls.
That's why I keep buying her crap to kind of have her go along, to have her stick it out. Oh, I almost don't want to take off.
There we go. Hell of a point guard.
I am lifting heavier weights to get my arms to look like that.
Yeah,
I just need a larger shoulder. I like more shoulder definition.
I think the better Matt Smith, aka Five Fan, I think he deliberately took muscles off my arms to fuck with me.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm condescending.
You're just a 70s player. You're like Ernie DiGregorio.
Yeah,
Just like limp spaghetti.
I'm like a little Pistol Pete whose hair was bigger than his arms.
Mike Dunleavy Sr.
So see, now you make fun of how much I may or may not have spent on the jacket, and perhaps the jersey. But you know what they are now? Tax write-offs, using the garments for editorial purposes. Wink. If only I'd saved the receipts. Like it?
Did you not save the receipts?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking moron. Huh? Your boy Pip?
Yeah.
She knows every single person on that team. Could
Just
care
because
less
of the
documentary.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know every person. I know the top 3.
Well, better than most.
The triumvirate of the Bulls.
He just wanted to use the word triumphant. Okay, so anyway, I got this because I like it when Joe wears her Bull stuff. But also this guy here, his family's half frog. And the Bulls and your Detroit Pistons, I kid, they're nobodies, will be playing in Paris at 3 p.m. Joanne's going to be joining me to watch. And that is going to somehow get French people interested in the association. The only real story so far has been that Jalen Duren, a 19-year-old center who was traded to the Pistons on the night of the draft, has played in 39 games this season. He, like the rest of the staff, is looking good. Not good yet, but he forgot, of course, his passport. Now, you would think, particularly with a young team.
Wait,
like
seriously?
Yeah, he forgot. I think he is finally,
But don't
you would
they have
think,
handlers?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like-
They have people teaching
Traveling
them
secretary.
about the multitude of STDs that is the hotel lobbies, and to wrap it up, and all these things, but they don't teach them about passports, apparently. And this is not the first time the NBA has done this. They play all over the world. I don't know. Is this the first time in Paris? I doubt it is.
I don't know if they've played a regular season game in Paris.
I don't think you're right.
They don't do it nearly as often as they should. It's crazy because ever since the Dream Team, right, '92, that just ignited European basketball. I mean,
Yes.
you made a throwaway comment of like, will this get people involved in the association? Do you know who's a goddamn Bulls fan? Like, and wanting to talk to me not just about like Scottie Pippen, but about Tony Kukoc and about like Steve Kerr and Jim Paxson play on the team for a while, probably. I don't know. My father-in-law, he's like,
Really? I love it.
we'll wait up until 3 o'clock and watch Bulls, Michael Jordan Bulls. And he doesn't exactly talk like that, but
Whatever that is, it was offensive, I'm sure.
the Bulls in the '90s and the aughts were like what the Atlanta Braves were to America when we were growing up, which is that they were on TBS, so they
Yes.
became America's team regardless of whether they were any good, and then they got good, which is helpful. But the Bulls were like that, so that everyone would like stay up and watch the live cast of the Bulls games in France, and France has a pretty good league, and they had Tony Parker, who
That's true.
played for 20 years. I mean, he's a hell of a player.
Tony had an accent.
Didn't he marry that
Ava Longoria.
Desperate Housewife actress? Yeah.
There you go. Somebody fix
I'm interested. Tell me more about French leagues.
So, okay, then maybe the question would be not, will this matter? Does it not matter in the sense that, they're already got? Do they need to do this because we've already got such a big French market? I mean, actually, the national team's pretty good from what I remember.
Yeah, partly because of Tony Parker and some other ones. What's his face? The Rudy, the tall guy from.
No, he's not. Gasol.
I think he's French. You know what I'm talking about. He played for Utah. I don't know if he's still there. Gobert. Thank you.
By the way, speaking of retros, we haven't even commented on your Grizzlies jersey, sir. I think there's going to be a documentary on the Vancouver, though artist formerly knows the Vancouver Grizzlies coming out. But very nice there, buddy. Look at that. Remember in the 90s when everything just looked like it was vomited onto the front of the jersey?
I think the Anaheim Ducks had that jersey. The Anaheim Angels had that jersey.
The block lettering
so
is
bad.
really big from that.
All of that. Look at that.
Just always let's get a teal in there somewhere or some kind of like cobalt blue. Razzle
It's a
dazzle.
color scheme that they would not deviate from. The Raptors was a full-on cartoon of a Raptor playing basketball. The whole deal. on the actual jersey.
Well, the Grizzlies, they had that teal, and then this is their off jerseys. They had that like nice teal color that nobody uses in the NBA anymore.
Yeah.
And now the Memphis one, incarnation is one of the best teams in the league. That can't, well, I guess it did come out of nowhere, but still, very impressive. But I feel we're losing Joe.
I want to know. So in this French, oh, there you go.
Look
Raptors.
at that. That is.
God.
Disgusting.
Remember the 90s?
Wait,
Breakfast cereal.
I kind
Yeah.
of love that. I would wear that.
Yeah.
Hey, remember your
regret it.
loyalties.
I regret
Thank you.
it.
By the way, how adorable is that bull with blood on its horns that you're wearing right now?
Yeah. Does it have blood?
Yes.
Oh, that's blood.
Is that the one where you turn it
They're
upside down
tampons.
and it's like I don't know, somebody with a penis?
It is a clam. No, it's a spaceman being a DJ.
Yeah.
And some people say it's a spaceman fucking a clam. And I have that T-shirt
Some
as
people.
Okay.
Not me, late at
At a
night.
French stadium.
Arena.
Thank you. Do they? Well, it's going to be 2 American teams. So like, I just want to know about the snacks. Are the concessions going to be like American concessions, or do French people think that American food is gross? They'd be like, oh, I don't want this like pretzel. I don't want this bucket of cheese fries.
I've seen the French league, the Lyon plays, and our rooting interest in my family is Nancy for some reason, Nancy. It's called. And then I've seen soccer. And I don't have a specific memory of it, but usually in French kind of like train station situations, you're going to have a lot of paninis, right? Paninis are super easy to do. There might be some crepes, also super easy to do.
Yeah.
I love the idea.
Throw some like
a crepe at a game.
Oh yeah, no.
Great. Well, you have lots of
Like
dishes.
jambon fromage on that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, fuck
They're
yeah.
not going to do like hot dogs. They might do like a sausage with bread on the side, but they're not. I mean, the hot dog, no, they're not going to do
Yeah.
that. But I mean, all of you who have been to France know they have some of the worst fast food ever in the French fast food chain known as Quick. It was their response, the French national response to McDonald's, like, we shall do quick, and we'll have a burger, and we'll have fries, but it'll be French-owned, and it's garbage.
I was a horrible, and feel free to judge, ugly American when I was there at a very young age, because I did go to McDonald's a lot, and it was only because that was the only place where the beer was moderately priced. They had fucking vice taxes. I don't even know if they were vice taxes. They just charged so much.
Their McDonald's had beer?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And wine and like really, really good salads. I think I go to McDonald's here maybe once a year and only under protest because I'm with one of my dumb kids
Right.
who wants to go get a Happy Meal. I go to McDonald's on purpose every time in France or especially Switzerland because McDonald's, wherever it is locally sourced and under the influence of local attitudes and themes. And so in France, you get like a little glass of wine. I'll have a goat salad, please, with like duck in it. And like,
Wow.
yes.
As a
bring on.
franchisee, I remember they had issues with the Rock and Roll McDonald's in Chicago because it deviated from what a McDonald's is supposed to look like. And so technically, even though you're getting a better product, I almost wonder if Big McDonald's has issues with that. Because there's like a bunch of boxes you got to check, and if you're just offering an overall better McDonald's, I almost think that they would get upset with
Maybe
that.
America does, but maybe
Yeah.
in France they're like,
Yeah, but it's still McDonald's,
yeah, I guess so.
They are, they're especially in Europe or abroad. They're really interested in local variations on dishes. The best of which I saw was when I lived in Prague. The first McDonald's there opened, and everyone loved it, like they loved it in all the former commie lands. But Czechs gotta eat pork. Right, and they weren't for some reason. McRib wasn't. It's not a barbecue situation, and so they invented a hamburger with just like a slab of grotesque pork on the top, and called it a McBuchek, which just is
Fucking amazing.
perfect.
If you can bring Czech and Irish together in that kind of feast, I
Yeah.
love it. Well, remember what Samir found in when visiting Auschwitz.
Yeah.
Our horrific travel correspondent, I guess, Samir Suri, he went to Auschwitz, as one does, and man, they are selling, what kind of pork product was it?
I think he said
Right
it was like pork
outside.
sausages.
Yeah, and it's just, kind of the last place that you want to be selling that kind of thing. But, I guess you got to make a buck fuck
the
if you
way
don't
he
have a.
said it was right. It was a lot of Polish people who then it was like became like a Polish community. I think he said.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they didn't change the name or nothing.
Ooh.
And it's not like you can have a gift shop, but I suppose they do. I don't know.
I don't know.
Or we've talked too much about the times of Hitler as it is, but yeah.
Wrap it into now. It's a commitment. Every segment has to come back to Hitler.
By the way, I accept this challenge. Yes. But well, so all right, like, I'm assuming French fandom is not as obnoxiously obnoxious as American or British fandom, or am I wrong?
I feel like the French are too cool to be fans.
No,
you know?
the French are total fans. The idea that Americans have a French culture, it's kind of the same with the British culture in that we all think it's you know, and
Yes.
and you actually go to England, and it's like, oh, it's just assholes in pubs, and they're actually a lot more fun to hang out with than they.
Yeah.
And France is kind of like that too. Like, remember the movie came out, was called The Artist, that was about the silent movie star, right? And it's fine, and you know, who doesn't like a good silent movie? Please give me the Oscar type of movie. But the guy who starred in that, right around the exact same time, was the star of the biggest grossing French comedy in like 10 years, which I think was called like Taxi or Taxi Man. And the whole conceit of it was he's just this obnoxious dickhead, although this is redundant because he's from Marseille. Marseille is the South. Everyone's really loud and like gross and bunko and just like, oops, 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 just driving around big chains, acting like a dick. And French people loved it because that they recognized them. That's who they are, actually, a lot more than like a mustache twirler sitting in like the cafe.
That is
dreaming of Hemingway.
Yeah. So again, I guess it just seems like then perhaps this is unnecessary. I mean, they're already got as far as all things NBA is concerned. I mean, I guess it's fun that we're doing it or whatever. Passports are getting lost, so I know
the way
that's happening.
I look at it is that right now Europe is sending us their best. I mean, like the NBA is so much better right now because of European players, and that's Dream Team and Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, basically that unleashed the floodgates, whatever you say that in English. And so because of that, I want more Jokic's. I want more Luka Doncic's because they're rad and they're fun. And like the entire Spurs team with Manu Ginobili, who's not from Europe, but like from various places, like those teams are great and they bring a crazy flair. Tony Kukoc, when he was good, which was a couple of times, brought a crazy flair.
Yes.
You should be going to Europe all the time.
Oh, I agree.
So we get some more of those people.
I don't like it. They're taking our jobs.
There she is. You are such an American.
Thank you.
I thought we were letting the market decide.
Yeah, but I want an American market.
You want the market to say no to the ozone and yes to the old school aerosol spray cans.
It's been repaired somehow. So let's get back to it, okay?
You know, Montenegro, where our own Luby is from, Vucevic they've got an inordinate, they're like the Samoa of the NBA, where the Samoans, there's an inordinate amount of them in the NFL. Montenegro's a small country, a fuckload of Montenegrins in the NBA, including Vucevic on the Bulls, who's just gotten his third triple-double, I believe.
Like the average height of Montenegrin women is 6'3".
Is that it? She is normal height for them, I guess.
They are
short.
big mountain people.
Yeah.
And that's just how
It's
it is.
interesting.
Yeah.
Usually you think of the opposite with small population, but yeah, she is a tall one, and all the Montenegrins in the NBA are all super tall, and alarmingly white. Like there's white, and then there's like the translucent kind of white that they are. A little bit like you.
It's winter. I can't help it. But hey, speaking of white people.
This will be good. All right, now don't forget to bring it back to Hitler.
Not hard.
Well, death and despair. A rise in middle-aged white deaths of despair may be fueled by a loss of religion, a new research paper argues. So-called deaths of despair, such as from suicide or alcohol abuse, have been skyrocketing for middle-aged white Americans. It's been blamed on various phenomena, including opioid abuse, but a new research paper finds a different culprit, declining religious practice. The authors noted that many measures of religious adherence began to decline in the late 1980s. They find that the large decline in religious practice was driven by the group experiencing the subsequent increases in mortality, white middle-aged Americans without a college degree. They also looked at the repeal of blue laws in particular. Blue laws limited commerce, typically on Sunday mornings.
Oh, come on.
These laws have been shown to be strongly related to religious practice, creating discrete changes and incentives to attend religious services that are plausibly unrelated to other drivers of religiosity. Love that word. So results underscore the importance of cultural institutions such as religious establishments in promoting well-being. Now, Matt, something that I think this is like a causation research thing that I think they aren't quite thinking about. Is the middle-aged despair caused by the removal of religion, not going to church anymore? Or are people not going to church anymore because they're in despair?
Ooh, that's pretty good.
You know?
That's pretty good. My problem with studies like this, and especially when you try to say, well, it's because we don't have enough laws telling you what not to do. It's like there's that part in documentaries of a certain sort where they go back to the tree trunk or the ice core sample, and they're like, this is from the year 972, and you could see from this bubble that there was global warming caused by wood-burning fires. It's like, it's just a little sheet of ice from one year.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different things. I mean, I do not doubt that that people turning away from organized religion and participating in it is part of it. But that's just one little bit of a lot of things. You can make the same study and be about Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. There are much fewer Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. You could say the same thing about Little League. I mean, back when I was growing up, Little League inculcated really wholesome values, as demonstrated by the Bad News Bears documentary movie. This is really how we learned how to get along with one another.
Those kids were smoking unfiltered. I just want to throw that out there.
Shooting cans of beer and talking frankly among different racial groups. But it's all of that, and it predates COVID, and it predates a lot of these things, and we shouldn't overemphasize any single one of those things. There is, I think it began about 5 years ago when we started to see life expectancy in America going down. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like the whole, the history of mankind is like grim until 1800, and then everything goes up forever. And other countries get to the 1800 point. Some of them only got there in 1990, and then it starts to take off and get good. And everything trends up. And also, people have fewer kids as they get more control over their reproduction, and also just get richer, and they want to spend money on crap like Bill spends money rather than having kids.
Edit out the crap.
But part of all of these things, and we sort of feel it in America, like there's something wrong, even when, like right now, we have the historically lowest rate of unemployment we've had in our lifetimes. Does it feel like that?
No.
Hell no, it does not.
It doesn't.
And part of that is because unemployment measures things wrong. It measures the number of people who can't find a job who are looking. It doesn't measure the people who are like, peace out, I don't work anymore. And that number
gets glossed over
crazy.
All the time, I think.
There are 7 million able-bodied American men between the ages of 25 and 54 who just don't even think about working right now. Yeah. That's never happened. And what is that? And part of that, I do think, is related to religion. It's related to social institutions. I have a friend of mine who likes to go to the old Elks Lodge bars because they're obviously the cheapest.
Sure.
Lives in New Jersey, unsurprisingly.
Well,
and
like a deal.
And
that's actually very true.
And he was telling me that all of these lodges and these men's fraternal organizations, and there's some women's ones too, just started nosediving. They're not being replaced by anything. And as a different friend once said about religion, part of the role of church, or the importance of church, and it's why I go even though I'm not Catholic. I go to a Catholic church not every Sunday, but often. Is as my friend who's also not Catholic says, church is an excuse to get yourself out of bed, put on some clothes, look a little halfway decent, and see your neighbors around, and hear a little pep talk. So that you can get out and go. I go to church for that reason as much as anything else. It's my community. It's the people in my neighborhood, and you have different little bonds that come because of that. You find a preschool because of that. But you also just sort of get yourself out of your video game of your basement, and you connect with people. I think we learned during lockdowns we're not built to be indoors. We're not built to be hamsters. And so all of these groups, and religion is part of that. I would say it's less about the teaching and more just about the interacting with human beings.
Yeah, the community.
Yeah.
Like what you said with getting out of bed, there is definitely like a fake it till you make it kind of part, right? So it's like getting out of bed, putting on decent clothing. Maybe
like what
showering,
you're wearing right now.
Maybe showering before you go. And then hearing someone talk pep talk, but also a lot of times the focus is not on you. It's about those who are less fortunate. You know, you put a little money in the pot. You say prayers for other people, dedications to other people. And so it kind of gets you out of thinking about just yourself all the time. And yeah, you see your neighbor, you're praying for someone who's sick. And so it isn't just the woe is me. It is good to then think about how can I help others.
And the isolation flip side is wretched. It's just wretched. Like if you are just sitting in your house all day and you're not going out and interacting with other people, and you are just like online shopping.
Look at this! Look at it! You're jealous, both of you.
Watching shitty
1909!
movies over and over again.
They're not shit. They're educational. A lot of them about Hitler. Too many.
Thank you for checking off the box, by the way.
But the thing that I don't get about this article, though, is I don't see how you can say a lack of religion is why we're having suicide. If you are no longer religious and indeed an atheist, I would think the last thing you want to do is kill yourself, because there ain't nothing to look forward to afterwards if that's what you believe. You know, I think that if anything, you were depressed and you were religious, you're like, well, hopefully God will forgive this sin. And off to the pearly gates I go.
Yes,
but if you do not believe in God, I would think that as bad as it is, nothingness would probably still look a whole lot worse.
Well, I mean, you guys are both kind of like ex-Catholics, right? Or like you were raised Catholic.
I hate the term recovering, but I'll use it. Well, and the other thing, this isn't even a joke, as far as the whole giving the money at church is concerned, I do nowadays think, because I'll go with them, like with my mom and it's Christmas or something, God help me, I think that money is just going to their defense attorneys. I really do.
Chicago, yeah.
That brings up a good point. You know, you just named 3 institutions that, you know, attendance isn't so great. Church, Boy Scouts, Little League. Maybe some childhood trauma.
I don't know if Little League's
now, as adults, the alcohol abuse, the depression, I don't know if they're related. And maybe people don't want to be associated with these things that perhaps caused them the depression.
Absolutely, but I would add another thing. A different friend of mine who's really into national parks and has written a lot about that points out, this is way predating the pandemic. Back, you know, we have, 335 million people in this country. Back when it was about 230 million people, the number of people who attended national parks or state parks, the great outdoors that we have in this country, it's the same as it is now. With a population increase, people aren't going out. What are you people doing? Like you can go to wonderful national, but you can go hiking. You can touch grass.
Right.
And people aren't doing that. I grew up in a very Levittown-like suburb in Southern California that was all designed around parks and kids. And I went back recently to the old Little League fields to just cry and masturbate. And these gigantic parks, like 2 square mile parks, kind of like basically a mini version of Central Park without the pretense and the violin players, all the fields were empty. Like people weren't just like going out to do park things. They weren't out. It was a weekend in Southern California. And it's like, what? That was never empty before.
And tree bathing is a real thing.
Yeah. Well, it's a thing, but is it real?
But I want to say there's been studies, I don't have them in front of me, that show that being around nature, being around trees,
vitamin D, for Christ's sake,
can really help a person in terms of, I don't know, just having a better quality of life. So
I wrote a piece a couple of weeks ago exhorting people to do what Forrest Gump did, speaking of bad movies, what Forrest Gump did.
An entire box of chocolate?
At the, he finally screws Jenny He asked her to marry him. He's all excited, and all of the 60s and early 70s have just happened, and he was part of every one of it, including like ping pong diplomacy. None of it makes sense. And so he's going to marry Jenny finally, and he wakes up in the morning and she's gone because she's Jenny and she's piece of crap.
She sucks. She's a bad
totally
person.
Sucks.
Yeah.
And what does Forrest do? He goes running.
Yes.
Like 3 years. And America went running in the late 70s. Like Jane Fonda went from like, I'm going to go to Hanoi and get on a tank and tell you about the world to like, I'm going to make exercise videos. And what do you think did more good for the world? It's unambiguous, the exercise videos. My wife still uses Jane Fonda exercise videos. They're so good. Like people said, enough already. We're tired of the politics. And I feel like right now we've had this period, and you could date it from 2015. You could even date it from 2000, depending on how you look at it. But certainly from 2015, where everyone, that's all they care about. They're not even, it's not even like the sports ball game in the bar. It's C-SPAN, you know? Like, stop that.
Yeah.
Stop paying attention to politics and getting both your love and your hate from it. And, like, go do something that has nothing to do with that. So, like, do like Forrest Gump, just go running, do something physical, touch grass, and you will feel better, I guarantee you. And you can also solve that problem, the overall kind of despair problem and like whatever's plaguing your community and your family, a lot better if it's you doing that rather than saying, damn it, George Santos, you know, like George Santos is fun to laugh at, and we should always laugh at him.
Oh,
like
I
getting
think
mad
last
about
or second to last episode, it gave you guys about 45 minutes worth of material. I mean, he's a gift that keeps giving.
Did you see the one about the dog thing?
No.
Oh no.
He went on one of his aliases, Anthony Volveter or whatever it is, Devolver. He went and did a GoFundMe for a disabled veteran's dog who was sick, and he pocketed the money. And
it's unfucking like
it's
not even the.
Also,
it's a different word than
brilliant.
I mean,
people would donate. You have the words veteran and dog in there.
Yeah.
People are like, have my money.
Yeah. Well, and like, God, I want to poach him from you. The British guy you had on, he was great.
Douglas Murray, he lives in nearby.
Would love to get him. And he was talking about, and I'm butchering it. You could probably describe it.
Bill's mentioning the Fifth Column podcast, by the way, in case that wasn't clear.
He immediately went to Moonlight Graham rather than doing a proper intro.
Podcast.
But it's a wonderful podcast. As is the Reason Roundtable. I love that one too. But he was saying that like you can usually categorize the type of lie and how it helps the person. And then you've got whatever the fuck he's doing. Like it is so off the map. And it's like there's no category. I don't even think the word is pathological. It's something else. I mean, it is pathological, but it's like that's too little of a word to describe what's going on here.
I mean, he's made it his business model. I mean, that's just he's.
Well,
going
it makes
to do
you
that.
wonder if it's no longer pathological, but like brilliant. You know, there's like a fine line.
Yes, I don't. To what end? I mean, he's surely there. People are going to start getting in trouble for not vetting him. I'm sure that's already happening because I mean, there are so many whoppers.
They vetted him. The Republican Party of Nassau County vetted him in 2021, and they found half of this stuff at least, and they're like, "This is terrible. We got to like encourage him not to run," and he didn't care, and he ran. And he won.
I kind of love that. I don't know why.
I know you do. I know you
do.
do because there's a little bit of a sociopath in you.
I guess so.
But it's unbelievable. Yeah, but he had some great comments on it. But I mean, from the whole just watching it all burn aspect, it's entertaining, I guess. I don't know where this goes. I mean, there's really no way they can kind of.
Wait, who can I play in the Netflix series, the limited series
His
of
wife.
all of this?
You'd have to date him when he was still straight, which he may still be, and he may be a fake gay,
Yeah,
which I'm not
yeah,
even kidding
yeah.
about. So, huh.
You should see there's footage of him from 2019 at like a gays and lesbians for Trump thing or trans,
Yes.
and he was
You
like,
guys talking about-
it's like I'm Anthony DeVolder, and he's like he got this really bad like side hair shave on the side, and imagine that guy playing volleyball. By the way, that's the most hilarious thing, just fucking gut spilling out, yeah, he's just like how do we get more trans people to realize that Donald Trump is great? You know, like the community, and like what the fuck.
And you guys say it all the time on the Fifth Column. There you go.
Podcast.
How great is it that we live in a world where a Republican is faking being gay to get elected. I mean, that is we have gone a lot far away.
We don't know what lies in his heart. We don't know.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
It's an Onion article. Like it's
the whole
like an Onion headline, and that's I guess what I find so funny.
Off topic, but I never realized that whole sort of artwork meme that the Onion would have used for any Biden article, mostly when he was vice president. Do you remember this, where he was sort of like in jean shorts and washing his, not in like a sexy way, but like in an older single neighbor way, and washing his Corvette, and that was the picture for every article. It never actually occurred to me that he actually owned a Corvette. Like,
oh, wait,
I had
really?
yeah, that's where all of the secret stuff was in the garage with his Corvette. I'm like, of course he does.
He's been bragging about that for years.
I did not know that. I just thought that was like, oh, kind of creepy Uncle Biden guy. But no, he's got a Corvette. And of course he does.
And a pair of jorts, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know if the jean shorts were an artistic license or not. Well, as usual, he went over because we love both him and his flat cap. You know who's got 1 million of those is our own Alfred Schultz.
Yes, of course.
He is like
probably stole this from him.
I was gonna say I can't wear. The only way I could justify wearing mine is by saying my mom got it for me because you don't want to follow your younger brother as far as fashion is concerned.
I mean, you could put it on and like do a little brogue accent. I could see that. Alfred just looks like
Saoirse Ronan. That's how she.
Saoirse Ronan. That's how I
what
get
she
into
says.
my Irish accent.
By the way, Banshees of Inisherin. See it? Irishman?
No, but I became aware of it because of the Golden Globes.
Don't see it. If you want to do what a lot of people without religion are doing right now, although I maintain it's the opiates is why they're offing themselves, don't watch that. Wow, I thought it was going to be funny. Anyway, give us your plugs, your promotions.
Follow me at Matt Welch on Twitter. Not that anyone looks at Twitter anymore.
Is it really that dead?
It's my traffic's dead, so I think my presence.
Mine really is. It always was.
Is cratered. Go to Reason. Go to the Fifth Column. Fifth Column is findable at wethefifth.substack.com. And people who subscribe to the Fifth Column pay us money. They get all kinds of great stuff.
I still think I
sex
should
with
get
Michael Moynihan.
Oh boy, that's redundant. What hasn't he had sex with?
That's true.